Okay, let's see, we got everything. Richard? What are you doing, Richard? Okay, get out of here. Okay, let's see. Yeah. This. And just I'll be with you in one moment. So I'm getting my music on here. Turn the lights on. Okay, welcome, greetings. It's a precarious time for me right now. And there's going to be an advertisement. Okay, it's ruining my vibe. I'm listening to a slowed down song, 800%, so it's like Day Van Cowboy by Boards of Canada. Precarious time. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about. First of all, thank you to the 2 people who liked my video. Thank you. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. And it makes me want to be a better person, you know? Like, there's some guy who I kind of blew up on. I wanted to say to him, you know, if you didn't intend to make me mad and you're not a gang stalker, my apologies. And then I also wondered, you know, yeah, what if he really didn't intend to make me mad? I apologize, and then he comes back and does the same thing again accidentally. And it was just kind of like asking the same question over and over again. And I've done that with an ex-girlfriend who I think was a gang stalker, who I was really in love with her, but on some level I wanted to get rid of her. And I think that's why I did that. I had this subtle feeling like, you know, I'm asking her the same question over and over. Like, this is kind of passive aggressive almost. This is almost like self-sabotaging. You know, she's not gonna like this. And she ended up leaving. And maybe it was my fault. Maybe it wasn't. On a whole bunch of different levels. Maybe it was my fault that she wouldn't have left had I not done that. Maybe it was her fault because she was a gang stalker. And maybe I was doing that because I could tell she was a gang stalker, and I was only asking her kind of dumb, annoying questions because she was a gang stalker. And I didn't know it at the time, but subliminally I kind of knew. Like, I didn't have the term gang stalker in my head, but I thought, this is a bad person right here. This, you know, she's not who she claims to be. She's not who she even thinks she is. And so when I did that kind of asking the same question over and over, and it's annoying, and it's implying that I'm not really listening to your response anyway. Maybe when this guy did it, it upset me because he didn't have a reason to do it. I don't know. I felt bad, you know. But anyways, I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I have been going back on Quora, and it's very nice. I have like hundreds of thousands of views on there. I have lots of people who support me, and it's a little bit less flattering, you know, because on YouTube you're giving away your soul, you're talking, and when people like it, it means more, I think, on YouTube. But the written word means a lot too. And so going back on Quora, it's pretty cool. I have, you know, the old friends, I have, you know, it's validation galore. On YouTube, 90% of the people are gang stalkers. On Quora, 90% are TIs. And if I post a picture of a gang stalker, I'll get tons of people saying, yeah, that's so terrible what we go through, oh my god. And there'll be one gang stalker who looks totally like a loner, who no one even pays attention to. And so the precariousness of my situation right now is I'm feeling pretty good. And I just came out of feeling pretty bad yesterday. And that's pretty topsy-turvy. Right now I'm on top. Why I'm on top? Because 1, 2 people liked my last video, which I really appreciate. And 2, because one of my girlfriends messaged me on Quora, who I want to brag about. I almost asked her, can I brag about you and show your picture to all these people on YouTube? But I didn't want to go that route because we haven't talked on the phone. And I've seen her videos and she's seen my videos, so we can kind of tell what each other sound like. But I just thought it'd be kind of lame to brag about, oh, that's my girlfriend, when you haven't even talked to her on the phone yet. So, and I don't want to violate her privacy, but I did ask to see the lower half of her body, and I saw her butt and her hips to waist ratio, which is what I really wanted to see, but I accidentally saw her butt too. And it looks to be like one of those like curvy lines, like where the lines underneath the butt cheek go all the way to the outer thigh, which is exactly the type of butt that I like. And I was just like, oh, this is so perfect. Like, I'm just actually getting an erection talking about it. Okay, I was like, I should pretty much jack off right now. And then I remembered, Osho, and he says, whenever you have two alternatives, take the more difficult one. And I thought, okay, so the first thing that came into my mind was to message this girl and say, I'm thinking of doing a water fast. And I'm going to pause right now and tell you that I started a water fast yesterday and I failed by last night. And I vowed that I would never do a water fast again, because last night when I was feeling really, really depressed, I found bananas and I ate 5 bananas. And I felt amazing on those bananas, and I felt the miraculous power of fruit in a very stark realization that fruit is the species-specific diet, and you can't fix a chemical problem with a spiritual solution. And there's no such thing as meditating your way out of eating the incorrect diet. And when I found that, I was blown away. And I had found that years ago, and I had tried eating fruit since, but I couldn't get it because I was so stuck in my head about my issues that I kept interfering with my bodily process. What does that mean, interfering with your bodily process? It means even though you're eating the right thing, you're so stressed that you can't really feel it. You can't really grasp the miraculous power of fruit because you're stressing and you're bothered about this and that, and you just can't relax enough to feel the physiological effects that are happening because you're too much stuck in your mind. And what happened last night was I was so down and feeling like giving up on my water fast, losing so much of my hope, that my mind basically exhausted itself to a point where it couldn't fight anymore. And then I had more of a connection with my body. I just felt grounded. I felt just empty. I felt at peace, not by any sort of Zen meditation, but just by sheer exhaustion that I couldn't fight anymore. I'm too sad to fight. I'm too broken to fight. I felt very broken. And after I ate my chana masala, which I broke my fast with, and some chips, and it wasn't that good, and I was really losing hope. And hope had been the thing that had kept me going for years. And suddenly now the thing that kept me going, I'm losing that too. And it fucking sucks, and I'm really feeling broken. Then I ate some bananas. I started to feel really good. And then I put on some other TI on YouTube. It was not broken. And I thought, yeah, you can be a TI and you don't have to be broken. There's lots of TIs who are not broken. I think that's pretty cool. Had a total epiphany. I said from now on, when I want to get healthy, I'm going to be eating fruit. And screw this water fasting. Okay, I don't need to do it. And as far as the two alternatives, it's actually more difficult to eat fruit and to drink water than it is to water fast alone, apparently. I mean, that's what a lot of people say. I think I may have had more struggles water fasting. Then I messaged these 2 girls feeling all fucked up. And then today I got a message back from one of them basically showing me her lower half and getting a nice message. And I thought, this is what I could use to do a water fast. And I wanted to tell her, I'm not allowed to be busting nuts on a water fast because you could lose electrolytes. And it would help me to complete the water fast if at the end of the water fast you sent me a picture of your butt, and I could use that as motivation to get through the water fast. But then I didn't want to say that because I don't know if I'm actually even going to do a water fast anymore, because her messaging me actually changed a lot, because now I feel really cool and validated. Like the first thing I wanted to do was say, like, check out how hot this girl is, and you know, and I'm so excited, you know, I hope I can see a picture of her butt soon and get through this water fast using her butt as the motivation to get through the, and then I thought, yeah, I don't know, you know, like I can kind of tell her butt is good enough just by the picture, you know, you can kind of see a 3/4 angle, but also and her hips to waist ratio, oh my god, that's the thing that I really cared about, and that is on point, and she's perfect 10. And I mean, I have literally a 1/5 erection right now just talking about her. Literally, like it's literally just staying. I just have a fucking literal full-time, somewhat boner. Now, could she be a gang stalker? Of course, these questions go through your mind. Could you ever trust anyone ever again? Of course, these questions cannot be answered either. And a patheism, apathyist, can't know, therefore don't care, is the best route I have for that. You can still feel genuine, because if someone cheats you, that's their issue. So you can still genuinely care about someone. And as for not knowing, I believe she's real. So inside each one. So then here's a gang stalker here, just pulled over. Isn't this such a creep? Yuck, what a gross creep. Now, if I walked over to this person to film them, they would have some kind of treacherous punishment. Like, they'd break in, they'd do something scary, they'd have some kind of a threat. Can't tell you how much these people deserve to be caught. And as for where to go, I'm not exactly sure. You know, I would kind of like to go for... So this is the Night Stalker. He's very frequent. I refer to him by name. And you'll notice, if you ever watch my other night videos, you'll see him every single time. Like clockwork. Hello. And as I've mentioned before, he's a friendly one. And many times the friendly one is the one who will put a knife in your back. The friendly one is the one who has no guts. And they're nice because their spirit is broken and they're used to pleasing everyone. And they're saying, oh, please don't hurt me. Because they're projecting that if they were in your shoes, they would kill you. So they're very friendly. The Night Stalker is very friendly. And in the end of the movie The Princess Bride, there's this guy Humperdinck, and he's really bad. And the main character, I don't know his name, but he's really great. He says, don't kill Humperdinck. I want him to live the rest of his life in shame. And I've said that multiple times about the gang stalkers, that they would love it if we killed them. That they would kill themselves the first chance they got if they had the guts. And if we did it for them, that would be their dream come true. And when they intervene on other people who kill themselves, it's because they're jealous that they don't have the guts. And the worst punishment you could ever give a gang stalker is that they live a long life, that they have to be themselves no matter wherever they go. And I felt that very authentically watching a gang stalker ride his motorcycle. He's going vroom, vroom, and he's this oafy kind of butterball, butterbean looking guy, revving his Harley engine, and he's the butt of every joke. And you can't laugh at him face to face because he'll break in your house and fuck you or something. He'll do something bad. You can't, no one's allowed to laugh, but behind his back you can laugh at him. And wherever he goes, he's this monstrosity, revving his engine loud, and everyone has to be afraid. Everyone has to respect him. What a terrible life. And I've suffered enough with low self-esteem, with narcissism, feeling like a total fraud, where anything that I got that was good just didn't feel good at all, because at the end of the day I was still me, and it even highlighted how ugly I felt inside. I remember dancing with a certain girl, and I really loved her, and it was a very picturesque moment, but I was just so sad. I was just like feeling like crying, really. I kept thinking, why is it that you're so happy? Now maybe it was sad, maybe I was sad because she was a gang stalker. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't a gang stalker, I don't know. I feel like she may have gotten got to by gang stalkers, though. I also have wondered if her parents put me on the list. I might just post this video just for the Night Stalker, so you can see the pattern. And remember, I always start the video off by saying what time it is. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So you can see no matter what time I go out, 100% of the time, if I go in this area, the Night Stalker is there, including if I go in my backyard. If I just stand in my yard for long enough, the Night Stalker will show up. Very friendly Night Stalker. And all the Nazis are very friendly. They all have families. They're all very caring, loving people. So what goes wrong? What happens? Well, I don't exactly know. But I know it's true that the Nazis are very loving people. They love their family and they love their country and they're do-gooders. And they're out to help. They have very large agendas. They have a lot to do. They have a lot to help the world. They're very busy. They have a lot of business to do. They don't just sit content on a Saturday. They have stuff to do. They're very purpose-oriented. They have very high self-esteem. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but George Carlin made a very insightful point. Could you ever imagine that a psychopath has high self-esteem? You think? Yeah, psychopaths have very high self-esteem. They feel very self-righteous. If you say no to them, if you contradict them, they want to kill you. And that's why they have low self-esteem too. It's a paradox. Their high self-esteem, their narcissism, is a cover, a compensation for their low self-esteem. And they go together. And really, high self-esteem is a form of low self-esteem, because it's a value judgment about yourself. And why make the value judgment to begin with? I mean, hypothetically, supposing that you have high self-esteem, why would you say it? Why would you even acknowledge it to yourself? Like, would you ever acknowledge anything else about yourself? Like, I have 5 fingers. I have brown hair. I have a speaking voice. I am breathing. Would you ever have a profound realization about something like that? If it's your existential reality, why would you even say it? Why would you be judging your value to begin with? Who's judging? Who is it? What part of you wants to judge your value to begin with? It's the narcissistic self that judges your value. And so, don't claim you're perfect, but don't claim you're imperfect either. The people who say, well, nobody's perfect, they're as narcissistic, as unreasonable as the people who claim that they're perfect. Why do you have to bring perfection into it? If life already is perfect, then what does your claim to it have anything to do with it? Oh yeah, the PSYOP. So in school you learn, and the Nazis lost the war, and the Nazis got hanged. So therefore, you would never be a Nazi. No, we would never be Nazis. That's right. Because we hate Nazis. Yeah, that's right. We hate Nazis. Why do we hate Nazis? Because the Nazis got hanged. That's right. Why are Nazis bad? Because they got caught. That's why. That's the moral of the story. That's why they teach it in history class. History is so ugly, it shouldn't be taught. Why would they teach it? Well, to demoralize you. And that's the Nazis who got caught. That's not like us. That's Nazi 1.0. Look at all the advancements we've made in airplanes, technology. You wouldn't want to fly in the first plane ever made. The Wright brothers were thought crazy, so they hid it. They put their airplane in secret because had people known that they were trying to make an airplane, they would have locked them in a mental ward. And they had their first test run in secret. Would you want to fly on the first airplane? No. But after it's been developed for 80 years, yeah, it sounds like a good deal. Now that the Nazism has progressed to Nazism 2.0, and you're not going to get caught when that's part of the deal. Hey, but no one's going to know I'm a Nazi. You mean I get to rape, steal, and kill for pleasure and profit? And I'm just a no one, and I'm just so small. I'm just so small. I never got that premium pussy. I never got that premium relationship. I never got all the things I wanted. I was jealous of the people in the magazine. No one knew my name in high school. Or everyone knew my name, but my dad beat me and it was a misery. It was only through my connections. I knew the whole time I didn't deserve it. I'm so small. I want to make someone else smaller than me. I want to fuck someone else up. Yeah, if it's secret, I could see a lot of people being Nazis. Now, unfortunately, they don't have to wear Nazi tattoos on their foreheads. They should have to wear swastikas on their clothes. But the closest thing that they come is a modified exhaust pipe to let everyone know, hey, I know that you don't like this sound, and I'm going to make it anyway to show you that there's nothing you can do about it. I want to see you look at me while I do something to you that you don't like. And I want to see that look of powerlessness, that there's nothing you can do. And that makes me feel bigger every time I drive by someone like you. Yeah, I'd say that's about pretty common. I could say that's about how people seem. Pretty damn gross. And looking back, I'm pretty glad that I never fit in. I could see myself being gang stalked for my whole life, really. I mean, I met my dad when I was 24, and I met my other dad who raised me when I was like 20. One was biological and one was the one who raised me. And otherwise I had a single mom. And the main targets are single women with kids. And I could easily see that I was gang stalked since birth. I'm not claiming that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. But even if it wasn't the case, that wouldn't surprise me too, because I never really fit in at school. I had friends up until about grade 6 that I truly loved. And then I got my heart broken. And it was never really the same after that. And the girl who broke my heart, I saw her at a nightclub when I was in my 20s. Makes me wonder if she was gang stalking me. I'm glad I went out for a walk and not a bike ride. Just getting a new song here. Okay, we're gonna listen to some Trent Reznor. The guy who raised me met Trent Reznor. He said he had short guy syndrome. I'm trying to stay present to the moment. I think I'm doing a good job. It's been so long. I've been meditating for so long, and half the time I think, oh, this is all bullshit. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I really don't feel like anything's happening. To me, meditation is just a word. It doesn't mean anything coming from me. And anytime something beautiful happened, I was just imagining it. I was just on a sugar high or something. Truthfully, I don't know. All this spiritual stuff, I don't know. But I see people who are so cool, like Osho, and he says he's enlightened, and I think that must be it. That must be the difference, why he's so cool and I'm not so cool as him. I mean, he's never needy. He never feels insecure. He never feels like something ruins his day. Like even when he's getting hassled by the man, he got poisoned, he got irradiated, he got murdered. His vision gave out. He's wearing these big sunglasses. I was watching him for a long time. I didn't even know. Finally, he said, it's because I was tortured in prison. My eyes are failing me now. That's why I'm wearing these big glasses. And when he was dying, they said, we'll resuscitate your heart, his friends. He said no, and he sat up dying. And his friend beside him, the doctor, was crying, and he said, don't cry. Instead, remarble the floor. Put a new air conditioner in this room. And so I thought, well, maybe he's so happy, even though all this bullshit's happening to him, because he has all these millions of supporters and followers, and he has all these Rolls Royces and beautiful watches and beautiful clothes and all these beautiful women who love him. Maybe that's what it is. But I somehow felt that even if he didn't have those things, that he'd still be the man. He'd still be so cool. And that makes me think that enlightenment is real. And so I have my energy flowing in a certain way right now, where it's flowing up. And according to Osho, that means you're spiritual. And until your energy flows up, you actually can't be called spiritual. That's the real criterion. And I don't think I'm imagining it. And I think that I'm actually spiritual right now. And I'm not only trying to be in the moment, but I'm actually in the moment right now. Like, I'm not really thinking ahead about what I'm going to say. And I'm not trying to prove any point. I'm not sided on one point, and then I'm going to convince them that the gang stalkers are bad, and I'm a super hot guy, and it pays off to be me, and spiritual, and that does win. I'm not going to try and convince myself. Because I have this energy flowing, and it's pretty cool. These gang stalkers, they don't know what hatred means. They don't know what pain is, and they don't know what hatred is. And they don't know what love is either. And to think that I care about what they think of me is incorrect. To think I would be happy by them judging me because their judgment would be anger that poisons them would also be incorrect. I don't care about them to the extent that whether they're burning in lava or whether they're getting married and having a good time, it makes no difference to me. I don't acknowledge their existence. And I would bet that I could be a lot more friendly to them than they could be to me if the roles were reversed. I could be a lot more respectful to them. I could show a lot more restraint than they could to me, even in private, even underneath the social mask. If they had to go through what I've went through at the hands of me, and then I walked up to them and I said, "Hi, hey, how's it going, buddy? You doing fine? Looks like something's wrong. Did something happen?" I bet that underneath their skin, they would be reacting a lot more than what I would be reacting talking to them. I don't think these people are strong. I think they're slime weaklings. They're slime-ass weaklings. They're the most cowardly, slimy weaklings. And it's like they don't exist. And the ones who are passive and victimized in their own mind, the ones who say, "I don't want to do it, man. I'm rooting for you, Z-Bubs," they slowly fade into nothing. They slowly demoralize until they're nothing, till nothing matters, till they're saturated, till there's no contour about them. Until they're blasé. So the Nazi conversion process is, excuse me, this insert TI's name that you're talking to is under investigation for, quote, bad crime, unquote. If you associate with them, give them emotional or financial support, you will also be under investigation. Your options are to cease all contact or to join in the investigation. And if you tell anyone about this, or if you join in the investigation and get caught doing the investigation, you will be charged as a criminal. So, for example, you have to do some things that are, how do I say it? Illegal? Question mark? No, it's legal because we're telling you, we're giving you permission to do it. You're going to do some very legal things to investigate this person. But if you get caught, you have to pretend like it's illegal, and you have to do the punishment as if you didn't get the instruction from us, and as if you were just a lone criminal doing a crime. And that's how the investigation works. Right. So what kind of a person would do that? What kind of a person would say, "Yeah, that sounds like it makes a lot of sense. Thanks." Right, so I'll do the thing that's totally legal, but I'll sign an NDA. And if I get caught, I have to go to prison, but it's totally legal. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'll do it. Okay, Chief, I'll do it. Yes, sir, officer, I'll do it. Okay, thank you, officer, I'll do it. Okay, you know how you don't like it when someone shines their light in your face? You're gonna go shine your lights in people's faces. And that's how you're gonna serve the community. That's how you gotta stop crime. Who is on our team? It's people convicted of the same crimes that we're accusing this person of. And they're working off their sentence by doing the investigation work. And so our job is to basically, basically make them go away and take their stuff. If that makes sense. You can kind of read between the lines. Gonna make them go away and take their stuff. Oh, but remember, it's secret. It's not like the Nazis. We hate Nazis over here. Remember what we learned in school. Nazis are the ones who get hanged. We're the new good league. Okay, you can call us whatever you want, but we're not doing things the old-fashioned style anymore. Okay, we have technology now. We have networks in high places that span the globe. Yeah. And there's nowhere anyone can run from us. But remember, it goes both ways. There's nowhere we can run either if we get caught. So you have to sign this NDA, or else, if we get caught, there will be nowhere for us to go. So we got to take that real serious. Even down to the grassroots, we have to penetrate. If anyone anywhere talks about us, we have to go in right away and say, no, you're crazy. Oh, whoa, dude. That's totally nuts. But, and this is me speaking now, Z-Bubs, not my impression of an intelligence agent. The intelligence agents are not very smart. And I think by trying to hide themselves, they actually make themselves known. And it's not necessarily that they aren't known that stops people from revolting, but rather the brute force, the muscle that they have, the gunpowder that they have, is what stops people from revolting. And I think if there's some kind of way to bypass that people would revolt. In fact, I know that's true. Because all the war crimes are enforced in a top-down, authoritarian manner against the will of the common people. But I thought the common people were all Nazis. Isn't it 9 out of 10 houses on your street that are gang stalkers? Yeah. But I don't think most of them want to be. I think most of them are threatened into it. So maybe there's no hope after all. Except some of us are not gang stalkers. Some of us cannot be threatened into it. What about us? What's our place in all of this? And what's our influence on the people who can be threatened into it? Is it that because of us they do a lousy job? That they have cognitive dissonance? That they die inside?